Lesson 1.3a. We're going to be finding the distance between 2 points using the distance formula, which is actually just the Pythagorean theorem in disguise. So you'll probably recognize the Pythagorean theorem from middle school. So we use this same formula. We're just going to rearrange it. So when we subtract x2 and x1, that gives us side A. Oops. That's the horizontal distance. Then we have the vertical distance, which is side B. And the third side would be C. And then to solve for that third side, you would just take the square root of both sides. And that gives us the distance formula. So you essentially are using the Pythagorean theorem. You're just plugging in the numbers differently. But I had a couple people in first period say it's just easier if they use a squared plus b squared equals c squared. It's fine if you do that. I just think when you're using coordinates, it's easier to use the distance formula because then you're just plugging in numbers. So let's look at number 1. Now just looking at number 1, what's the distance? The length of that line, 8. You just count the boxes, right? So if it's a horizontal or a vertical line, you just count the boxes. But we're still going to use the formula just to get the practice. So there's my coordinates. And we're going to plug it into the distance formula. Now, it doesn't matter which one is 0.1 and which one is 0.2 because we're not partitioning it into a ratio. You could make either one 0.1 or 0.2 as long as the 1's are together and the 2's are together. So if I make this one x1, this one has to be y1. And the other one would be x2, y2. Now I'm just going to plug it into the formula. Okay, you can type that whole thing into your calculator if you want to. I'm going to do it in steps. So this ends up being 0 squared plus negative 8 squared. Which is the square root of 64, which is 8, which we already said D was 8. Okay, number 2. This is a diagonal line, so we can't just count boxes with this one. Label the points. Now, the order of these, because we're adding, does not matter. I could do the y's first and the x's second. The order that you do that part in doesn't matter because you're adding, so it won't change the answer. So we need to take the square root of 32. To get the square root on your calculator, hit the green second button in the top left corner, and then the x squared button has the little green square root above it. So you do second x squared, type in 32. If it gives you a radical as your answer, so your calculator might tell you 4 root 2, hit the convert button above enter, and that will convert it to a fraction. Not a fraction, sorry, a decimal. And we're just going to round to the nearest tenth for these. So that, because I'm rounding, okay, so you'll get 4 root 2, and then we'll round that to 5.7. So the distance or the length of that segment is 5.7. Okay, I want you guys to do number 3. It's not sketched, just calculate the distance between those 2 points. You have 1 minute. All right, what answer did you get for the distance? Anyone? $34? It's not 34. 4.4? No, not for number 3. Huh? 5.8. So make sure that you wrote out your formula correctly. Yes. The one right above enter? All right, 1 minute to do number 4. second, and then x squared.
Put your phone away, right?
All right, does anyone have an answer? 10.8.
Actually, 10.77, but rounded. Shut up, stop your little wicked wanna be me.
Okay, so now that we know how to calculate the distance, we're going to find the perimeter. Remember, perimeter is just adding the length of all the sides. So here we have a triangle. So we are going to have to calculate the distance of each side. Let's calculate this side first. You can set this up several different ways depending on how you label your points and what order you go in. As long as you're consistent, you should get the same answer. Square root of 162 is 12.7. So now let's do this shorter side. Okay, and then the distance for the last side. All right, so now how do we find the perimeter now that we know the length of all the sides? Add them all together. Bless you.
No, it's not 30.7, isn't it? Actually, I don't know which one it is.
Okay, let's use the same
The H, I got some here.
concept to find the perimeter of a parallelogram. It's not drawn for us, so we have to plot the points for this.
Stop, they're doing that. It's gonna hurt you. Stop.
I have rulers if you really want your lines to be precise. You can borrow some, but here's the Parallelogram. Now we know that with a parallelogram, these two sides are the same length and these two sides are the same length. So all I have to do is calculate two different distances and I just add it twice. So I'm going to label the points because that helps me. Okay, so I'm going to do the longer side first. All right, let's calculate the distance or the length of the shorter side. So this will be 4.1. All right, so now we find the perimeter. We're going to add 4.1 twice and 10 twice. 28.2. All right, your practice today is in Delta Math.